Hi, Martha. Iran was reportedly asking for a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon as part of its requirements for some type of peace deal with the United States. Now that the president announced that 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon yesterday, moments ago, the foreign minister of Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz, behind me in the distance in the Persian Gulf, is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire. So, things apparently on the upswing here in the Gulf. We can report here in the UAE, there's been about a week of calm now. No incoming missiles or drones from Iran after weeks and weeks of almost endless attacks coming from Iran. Also, the U.S. State Department ended its shelter-in-place order for U.S. government employees in this country. Obviously, the State Department urging people to still take shelter if needed. And then, of course, behind me in the Gulf, we're on day 5 now of the U.S. blockade that apparently has been going down without any reported incident or major confrontation. In fact, CENTCOM says at least 14 vessels have heeded the United States commands to either turn back to the ports of Iran or not violate their blockade. Now, the latest update from CENTCOM also says that they've been escorting people around the blockade, and here is some audio that the United States released.
Motor vessel Molly, this is Warship 112. We will be escorting you to your next port of call. Thank you for your cooperation. This is Warship 112, standing by at channel 16.
And yesterday, the president announced that 10-day ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. In an update from Israel minutes ago, an official says the IDF remains in Lebanon to hold all the locations it has cleared and captured. The IDF writing, the goal we defined, the disarmament of Hezbollah through military or political means, was and remains the campaign's objective to which we are committed. Currently, significant political leverage has been created through the direct involvement of the U.S. president and a commitment to this goal while applying pressure to the Lebanese government. Now, here in the United Arab Emirates, the U.S. State Department lifted that shelter-in-place warning for U.S. government workers, and the UAE is declaring victory over Iran. An official writing here, yes, Iran lost, and yes, the UAE won. We were subjected to more than 2,800 Iranian missiles and drones, and we shot down 96% of them. The American role after this war will be greater. This Emirati and Gulf partnership with Washington came after long years of relations, mutual trust, and joint investments. Now, back live here on the Gulf, we are, of course, monitoring the potential for a second round of peace talks, perhaps in Pakistan this weekend. Yesterday, the president said that those negotiations could be happening in Pakistan, and he even said there's a possibility that he may head there. But we'll continue to see what happens, because now that Iran has apparently relinquished its self-proclaimed control over the Strait of Hormuz, perhaps these peace talks do not have to happen in Pakistan, but we are tracking it hour by hour, and we'll keep you updated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is that smell? What is that? The fresh smell of napalm, burning oil in the morning from the oil kingdom of the world, the #1 oil exporter on earth, the great kingdom empire of America. Join the empire, actually. The more you watch Star Wars, the more you side with Darth Vader. I mean, honestly, the more you're like, actually, empire's pretty cool. Pretty amazing what we're able to do. Funny how the Phantom Menace was all about a blockade that actually ended quite well. And that's where we are today. We are giddy. We are excited. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to ask an important question. Have you tried saying thank you just once? Have you tried saying thank you? Say please. He said please. The naval blockade worked. The Iran gamble, which was painful and excruciating, and quite frankly, one of the world's hottest and toughest IQ tests ever for our show, that's for sure. This has been the most difficult 4 to 6 weeks in broadcast in the history of this show, that's for sure. Has paid off. There is no other way around it. It has paid off. There was short-term pain. There were historic crash outs. There were people who proved they would root for the other side in a war with America, like that they'd root for America to lose. There are people that burn their MAGA hats, burn their credibility, and threw themselves out of skyscraper windows for like what? Nothing. If you're a 3-time Trump voter, if you're somebody who actually like trusts the plan, right, which is hard, and it doesn't mean pure trust. It means that you like roll with the punches. Sometimes you do get punched. Don't you get punched? Sometimes the biggest champions in all UFC get punched in the face. They break bones. They break jaws. It hurts. Sucks. That's just the brutal business of politics and global empire. And these last couple of weeks with this Iran war, which we have always consistently said we didn't like because simply it took the eye off the domestic policy wins. And that's what's critical and important. And we need to win. We must win. We have to win. How do you do that? It's very simple. Gas prices, grocery prices, home prices. And those three things, it's problematic. That's it. This is the only thing that we preached. We went and interviewed the vice president and we talked about this. Affordability is what wins you elections. That's it, okay, in this country. A lot of that is tied to oil. A lot of that is tied to resources. A lot of that is tied to global economic environments. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this glorious date of April 17th, 2026, Friday, the year of our Lord, Iran has reopened the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has said, you win, we lose. Various Middle Eastern countries are claiming total and complete victory over Iran. Iran is now kneeling before Donald Trump, begging for forgiveness, giving Trump and the Trump administration everything that they want, everything the global world could ever want. Right now, we're going to cover it all on the show as the stock market rips, as oil craters, and ALX. Danny, you had better have sent like live oil tracking and live S&P 500 tracking to Klein. I want to be able to catch it live, please. I want to be able to catch the markets live. I want to talk about them live on the show. It's a wild time. We booked Kari Lake for the show because we've been talking about our friend Kari Lake, because Ruben Gallego now has credible sexual assault claims against him, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. This is something else we were planning on covering in the show, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. A day where we have been vindicated, where those who kept their heads during all of this have been vindicated. My name is Benny Johnson. Just a chill bro. We're just a chill bro. This is the Benny Show. Venice AI. Just an important reminder that all this was about AI. It was. This is about AI. How do you win wars? AI. How do you take cities? AI. Freaking crazy, guys. Like Ukraine announced that they took a city using only AI robots. The Terminator future is here. Is that horrifying? Yes. Are we playing for keeps? Yes. The people with the best AI and the best compute and the best manufacturing, the people that can control the actual currency that powers all that stuff, they will win. Venice AI, ladies and gentlemen, is a way that you can win and you can keep all of your information safe and secure. That's the thing that creeps people out the most about AI. Venice utilizes open source AI models to deliver text code and image generation to your web browser. There's no downsides, no installation, no anything. Unlike other platforms, Venice is a private company. It's uncensored completely. Your messages are encrypted end to end. Conversational history stays inside of the browser. AI should be useful without costing you your privacy. The Venice Pro plan unlocks everything the platform can do and includes all the features like limitless text and total freedom and control. And if you want to use AI without fear, handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or a government, you can get 20% off the Pro plan today. Go to venice.ai/Benny. Use code Benny to enjoy private, uncensored AI. Here we go. It's been about AI. It's been about a lot of things. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the top line. President Trump cheers as oil prices plunge through the floor after Iran declares Strait of Hormuz completely open, ready for full passage. Yo, let's just hop on over to the president and what he has to say this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business. Donald Trump called it the Strait of Iran. Just announced that they have fully opened, ready for passage. The Strait of Hormuz is completely, so Trump corrected himself. The Strait of Hormuz is complete. It's like minutes before he announces that it's called the Strait of America. completely open and ready for business and full passage, the naval blockade will remain in full force and its effects as it pertains to Iran only until such a time as our transactions with Iran are 100% complete. This process should go very quickly in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What are most of the points that we are negotiating? Let's go ahead over here to the Kobasai letter that has like a little bit of a peek into what has been negotiated. Here you go, Klein. There you go. The U.S. is considering a $20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. Three-page peace plan. That's a pretty short peace plan, frankly. Details include, shorter the better, I think. Just like keep it clean. The U.S. and Iran are negotiating a three-page plan to end the war. The element under discussion is the U.S. would release $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in return for Iran giving up its stockpile of enriched uranium. That's an unbelievable trade. How could you give Iran so much money? Are you kidding me? The $20 billion was just added to the U.S. stock market. You have the stock market ticker up? Show me. $20 billion was just added to the U.S. stock market in the last nanosecond. This is all-time record highs. Zoom on out, please. Give me that. Give me that 3-month view, shall you? Let's go, guys. We can get a sharper ticker than this. I know that. I know ALX and Danny. You got the oil prices. ALX, you got oil prices. Okay, guys, just show me that. Oh, okay, got it. So oil is now crashing, almost below $80 a barrel, on its way down to probably 50 or 40. Okay. This is worth $20 billion? Yeah, it is, actually. Why? Well, when Iran gets a nuclear weapon, that is going to destabilize everything. You think it's bad now. Again. I haven't really been a huge fan of the messaging on all of this. But the results, the market's reaction to Iran not being a nuclear power, and Iran saying that here's one of the details, some of the Iran's highly enriched uranium would be shipped to a third country and would be blended down. International monitoring, Iran would be allowed to have nuclear research reactors, medical isotopes, but would pledge that all of its nuclear facilities would be above ground, getting them up and out of those mountains. Iran is one of the most mountainous nations in the world, would make it virtually impossible to ever do a ground invasion there. So this would not be the way that you wanted to go. This is the way you want to go. You wouldn't want to go like, oh, let's go take over Baghdad. That was always a nightmare. This is precisely where you wanted to be. Well done. The Strait now is open. The markets are responding. Don't care what anybody says. Call me a plan truster. Call me whatever. Happy to have been in the camp of people that did not lose my damn mind, that did not light myself on fire over all of this. You can disagree with the president, and we do. That's our right. It's important. You can state it. You can be respectful about it. You can have a conversation. You can do it in good faith. You can go interview the vice president and talk about it. It's a good way to roll. Marine traffic tracker. Let's go ahead and look. Now, would you look at that? Suddenly, all of these boats, you can actually literally watch the boats zip through the Strait of Hormuz. You can see them move in real time. Holy moly. It's exciting, actually. It's cool. And then what has happened in the reshuffle of all of this? What's happened in this massive reshuffle? Well, you've gotten America becoming the world's #1 oil supplier. So go ahead and check in on the graph from yesterday, ALX, that we popped up, please. Yeah, the oil output in America, for America, has been just wild. ALX, we just put it up this morning, or late last night. ALX has got it. Pop my screen up, shall we? Thanks. Okay. Let's go through the timeline ever so quickly. NASDAQ is on its track for its 12th consecutive green day, longest winning streak since July of 2009, the fastest recovery since 1982. Looking at history. Look at this. Liquid fuel outages are substantial. The disruption truly has happened. And what has it happened in favor of America? Look at this. America now producing more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Producing more natural gas than China, Russia, and Iran combined. This is a future. This is a future for our people. This is a future for our nation. These are things that everyone should be cheering. You got that Bloomberg headline from yesterday that I loved so much. Shockingly, this entire gambit has made America so much stronger financially. Manufacturing has never grown in this country faster. It's amazing Bloomberg headline. Bloomberg hates, they loathe Trump. They can't stand it. My screen, Klein, here we go. S&P record highs now above market open. All-time highs again. Oh, look at this. Oh, you got it. Okay, 500 billion added to the market. I think like letting Iran have their 20 billion back, perfectly fine. Let's have peace in our time. Strait of Hormuz. Traffic returns to normal by the end of April. 55% chance. Woo. Bitcoin rip roaring. Institutions are buying at the fastest pace in history. Say please. Please. Donald Trump. USA will get all of the nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. The deal is in no way subject to Lebanon earlier, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon, a deal with Hezbollah, an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Good for you. Daddy's home. Good for you, dude. It's amazing. Now, Middle Eastern countries are claiming that they have officially destroyed Iran, the Strait of Iran. Yes, right. UAE, we have defeated Iran. We have won the war against Iran. Beautiful. It's great. Good for good. Look at this. Amazing. The amount of investment, by the way, that is happening globally into American markets, that's the one I'm talking about right there. Look at this headline from Bloomberg. Can you imagine the person writing this weeping bitterly as they're writing it? The crying, searing acid tears. The lib, blue hair, breaking off their acrylic nails in their Manhattan office. Their septum piercing, right? Buzzing.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Ironically, America's competitive edge has increased due to the Iran conflict as the price of natural gas has soared the rest of the world. But it's fallen in America because America is now the #1 producer of natural gas. The entire world has come here. Wow. Yeah, it's like a stock market crash, but in reverse. Look at that. Ooh, boy. Look at that. President Trump is saying he's going to host peace negotiations inside of the White House between Israel and Lebanon. Trump acting, again, like daddy, like mediating and bringing both sides together. This was something that was happening actually yesterday with Marco Rubio. President Trump saying last night he's going to go to Islamabad and sign a peace deal with Iran. He's going to physically be there. Come on, boys. Fine. Okay, let her rip. And there it is, folks. The 10th and final step of the conflict playbook is on the horizon. The market surged as expected, and now not only has the AI revolution rapidly celebrated in the background, 7-week war, but the markets are pricing in an inflation shock. Whew. And it's ripping. Okay. What's going on? What's going on next? I said, hey, Alex, very rude here, going over to your actual production. Do we have the, just in case you guys are wondering, because I know there has been like a considerable amount of like yapping, obviously, online about this, and there's been like aggressive rolling from each side. Get me that Iranian, as we get Kari Lake set here and check in. Kari Lake, the great Kari Lake is going to be joining us in just one moment. Get me that the Iranian foreign minister, his post. We have him, because he's the one. Because I want you guys to see it confirmed through Iran. The Iranian foreign minister is straight up, like he's the one who actually announced this. I know there's been like considerable. There he is, right there. Well done, Klein. Okay, and here's what he says: Diet Abasa, ragazzi. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage of all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire, and the coordinated route is already announced by the Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. One of my favorite things about all of this is that every ship listened to the American blockade. The Chinese ships, all these dirty other foreign ships from countries that hate America, every one of them turned around. We have the maps. Would you like to see the maps? We can show you the maps. They all turned around, these Chinese vessels. They're like, beach, turn around. And they all did. Every single one of them. Not a single one tested us. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. We have so much more to say on this, and we have much to say to a patriot who will be joining our program, Kari Lake. Patriot Mobile is how we call our patriots, is how we run our show. It is the backbone of our show. They are the only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they have been keeping us connected for years. We are thankful to Patriot Mobile. And in the 250th anniversary of America's birthday, you should celebrate, as we are celebrating today, by joining up. Their 100% based U.S. customer support team can help you get on the premium priority access that Patriot Mobile provides on all three major networks. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT and use a promo code Benny for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Benny, 972-PATRIOT to make the switch today. Here's what I want to talk to Kari Lake about, because she's going to understand this. Ruben Gallego, this is the man, and he's a despicable scumbag, that Kari Lake ran against in the Senate seat in Arizona. Gallego is in the Senate. Kari Lake was one that was warning about his duplicitous behavior of let's just say moral scrutiny here. And now Congresswoman Luna is accusing Ruben Gallego of misconduct, saying that he committed crimes, and she is referring him effectively to the to Senate leadership, saying you got to you got to handle this guy. Very interesting. Let's just do really quickly here. What did APL say last night? And take it away.
Who are we talking about?
We are talking about an Arizona senator that was very closely tied to Eric Swalwell, and I have since confirmed with Senator John Thune's chief of staff, as well as they're linking us to their ethics that they are investigating, and we are sending all appropriate information directly to them now.
That would be Ruben Gallego, correct?
Correct.
When you say in that X post, it's very disturbing, for my audience's benefit, can you define what disturbing means to you?
Well, without, I guess, getting too graphic, there is a woman that allegedly is coming forward with attorneys, wants to go on record about an incident that occurred between the two of them at the same time, and the event was sexual in nature, allegedly. But it's not just that. There's also, too, apparently issues of campaign finance violations. Again, look, I am one member of Congress, but I'm not going to be like some of my colleagues that waited, forever and a day to bring this information forward. I think that if this is happening, that it needs to be dealt with. I'm definitely not in the Senate.
Ruben Gallego,
should probably take that.
There's like one person who's been warning against this for quite a while. Kari Lake. Nobody knows the scumbag better. Kari Lake, we're honored to have joining us now. Man, what an unbelievable title that you have. I'm sitting here looking at the beautiful title on screen. Deputy Chief Executive Officer for U.S. Agency for Global Media. Wow. Maybe we can, I know there's a lot of lead in here. So why don't we just cover off the top? Ruben Gallego and these allegations. You warned in massive stadium rallies about this individual and said that he had no moral compass. You've been proven completely correct. Everybody knows how close he was with Swalwell. We're starting to see a trickle, drip, drip, drip of who Ruben Gallego actually is. Who is Ruben Gallego, Kari Lake?
I think you said it best when you said a scumbag. I mean, I don't throw that word around loosely. This guy has a past that is unbelievable. You get what they call opposition research. You get that on your opponent when you're running against them. And I had the dubious honor of running against Ruben Gallego. And most people would have, a little bit of a couple of hits against them of stupid things they've done in the past. His was one of those massive 3-ring binders. It was so heavy, I couldn't even carry it around. That's how much dirt he had in his past, from shady dealings, shady previous employment, lying on federal forms when it came to get his mortgage, and really taking what was a program for veterans to get them into their first home. He used that to buy a second home, $1 million home in a DC neighborhood, and lied about where his residence was. He lied about his past. He lied about the reason he changed his name. He changed his name to Gallego because he didn't want people to find out that his father was a convicted felon, drug trafficker for the Mexican cartels. I mean, I was going through this, Benny, and I'm like, how could the Democrats run this guy? This is blackmail material upon blackmail material. And then you get to the part about women. Okay. Real creepy. As a matter of fact, when he worked down at the state legislature, the Democrats, his own colleagues, had a nickname for him. They called him the troll because of how he would troll and creep women out. And these were his own Democrats, his fellow Democrats. I mean, I can go on and on. How much time do you have? Do you want to hear about the time a 20-year-old, a young woman, fresh in the workforce, working down at City Hall, when he was down there, complained against him about workplace harassment, and he got her fired? Rather than getting to the bottom of it and finding out what he had done, he gets her fired. Then we know that he left his wife when she was days away from giving birth to their firstborn. He hit her with divorce papers, and then tried to get her to pick up his legal fees on that. I mean, the guy, his past is disgusting. It's a mile long. It makes total sense, Benny, that his BFF in the world, best friend forever in the world, as he said, was Eric Swalwell. They're cut from the same cloth. They're two peas in a pod. These guys vacation together. We all saw the picture of them topless on the beach together, riding a camel. Well, by the way, that was paid for by the Qatari government. I think I heard it was an $80,000 trip. Goodness. While you and I were forced into our homes during COVID, and they were trying to force masks on our children's faces. Those two were gallivanting around on a beach without partially clothed. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the only explanation for that, Kari, would be if you actually truly wanted to. And here's the image. I'm sorry, trigger warning for everybody. We're going to put the image up. The only explanation for this would be if you truly wanted to forever open the Straits of Hormuz, because you could put the two of these guys there and everyone would be like, get me the hell out of here, right? Like, I want to get out as fast as possible. Whatever to get away from these two individuals. You could just put them on their little camels right there, in the Strait. And everyone would be like, what the hell? Like, please let me leave. Everyone wants to go home now.
I don't know. It's a pretty narrow strait. I'm not sure that Ruben would fit on that, but yeah, you're right.
Okay. So
maybe there is a use for him. I don't know.
So these guys aren't straight. They're crooked as they come. And you can see that Eric Swalwell, after all of the allegations this week, and we hear that there's so much more actually going to happen with Swalwell. I do judge somebody by their friends. You and I both come from Iowa. It's good stock. We have good instincts on people. And there's a truism that my grandparents always said, which is you just judge a person by their 5 closest friends. They'll just become the average of the people they hang out with. And so where there's smoke, there's fire. And I just don't believe for 1 second, Kari, that Ruben Gallego had no idea what Eric Swalwell was doing. Do you?
Not for 1 second. You're absolutely right. I mean, I think we're going to find out the two of them were involved in a lot of really disturbing things. And what I really hope, though, Benny, is that Eric Swalwell walking away from the scene and walking out doesn't end the investigations that need to happen. And there's been talk about, will Ruben Gallego resign? If things start to really pour out on him, will he resign? I want him to be investigated, not just for things he did to women, which I think just looking at his past, I mean, walking out on your wife when she's just a couple days away from giving birth is pretty bad. And the all the accusations of unseemly behavior toward women in professional settings, I think those are pretty bad. I think the fact that he lied on his mortgage forms is bad. But one thing that never has been looked into, and I was sounding the alarm on this, is the Act Blue allegations of smurfing, bringing in millions of dollars to his campaign and using people's names that really didn't make the donation. When are we going to look into those campaign violations? And that goes across the board for Democrats. And when are we going to look into the shady results of the election? You will never get me to believe that Ruben Gallego got almost as many votes as Donald Trump in the state of Arizona. Donald Trump won in a landslide victory in Arizona, the biggest victory he had in any of the battleground states. And they want the voters here to believe that Ruben got more votes than me. I got more votes than Kamala Harris. In order to make these votes work in Ruben's direction, they had to give him more votes than Kamala Harris and almost as many votes as President Trump. It doesn't make sense. I wish the media would start looking into that. They were counting for 10, 11 days. 3 days after the election, they mysteriously found 14,000 ballots in Pima County. 4 days after the election, we woke up to find out they had doubled the number of ballots in Yuma. I called down there. I said, wait a minute. You had 8,000 votes total for Yuma. And then all of a sudden you found 9,000 additional ones today. Oh, yeah, we found them in a vault. They were found in a vault. There's so much shady business going on when it comes to elections. Arizona, I believe, has a puppet government right now, and Katie Hobbs and the Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes. And the scary thing is, obviously, we'd all love to see Ruben Gallego out of the Senate. I don't believe he belongs there. But if he were to resign or be removed from office, Katie Hobbs will get to choose who his replacement is, and that replacement will stay there until the 28th election. So it's just a mess. Arizona is the victim of all of this nonsense and, in my opinion, criminality when it comes to elections. And we need to get to the bottom of those elections. And I'll never stop talking about it until we actually have election reform.
Good for you. I mean, you're right. It's she would probably put in again another cartel puppet into the Senate seat. But it would be nice to, frankly, get a scalp, given the fact that Eric Swalwell will also just be replaced, by another Democrat congressman. We find it so ironic, Kari, that he was able to run for president. He was able to run for Congress for 15 years. He was able to be on the Intel committee. They didn't care about any of that stuff. He was able to go on MSNBC every second of the day.
And he slept with a Chinese spy. I mean, if that wasn't bad enough, why didn't that bring him down? Why didn't the leadership in his party say, wait a minute, that's where we draw the line. Maybe you did this, maybe you did that. But when you are having a relationship with a Chinese spy, the CCP is our enemy. And that wasn't enough for them to stop and say, let's remove him from office. What's going on in Washington, D.C.? It's just absolutely corrupt. Think about the things that have happened in that town and what these two have potentially been a part of. I think we're going to see more resignations once they start scratching the surface. And God bless Representative Luna. She is doing God's work. I don't care if you got an R behind your name or a D behind your name or anything. I want the people who are criminal scumbags and people who abuse women out of office.
What do you say about these allegations that Anna Paulina Luna has brought forward? Allegedly, these are new, and she says they're criminal in nature. You know the nature of Ruben Gallego. I'm not sure if you know about these allegations. The floor is yours, Kari.
I don't know about these. I know just about his past. And, he's, like I said, when your own party labels you your nickname, the troll, you got some issues. We've seen his shady dealings when he worked for various companies that were found to be disreputable. His past is a mile long, and he's not even that old. I mean, he's got a really, really seedy past, and so I'm not surprised by it. I'm very curious about what the campaign violations could be. I think I heard her mention that if it stems from the Act Blue problems. It was really interesting. He roamed around and floated around, barely did any campaigning We had record numbers of how much we went out and campaigned and fundraised and worked our tails off, and it was grassroots. And we would release our fundraising numbers and he would miraculously double them. I mean, it was unheard of amounts of money coming in from a guy that nobody liked, nobody knew, and had the most heinous past. I mean, can you imagine running for office, Benny, and your family is a Mexican drug cartel family and the media doesn't touch it? I'm just as angry at Ruben Gallego and his past. I'm actually equally angry at the media, the mainstream media. I was sounding the alarm. All of the things we're hearing about, I was talking about. I talked about him at rallies. I talked about him on the campaign trail. Whenever I did interviews, the press didn't want to talk about it. They just wanted to sit and call me an election denier and not talk about the fact that my opponent lied about his entire childhood, the sleeping on the floor, didn't have a bed till he went to college. That was BS. His dad was a very high-end, a very high, powerful drug trafficker, I think for the Jalisco cartel, if I have the name right. And this is a guy who just lied about it all. And the media didn't have any curiosity about it. The media truly has been the enemy of the people, refusing to cover it. And now, all of a sudden, as if somebody flipped a switch, Benny, they go, oh, we need to cover this. We need to cover what a scumbag Eric Swalwell is. Even though they knew it, even though it was the worst kept secret in DC, we need to cover Ruben Gallego's past, even though it was out there, laid bare in 2024. And they were mad at me when I revealed that his dad was the cartel drug trafficker. They said, how dare you bring up what his father did?
You know, I'm not sure I hear that exactly, Kari, because while Swalwell was threatening Democrat power, Ruben Gallego is not. He's upholding Democrat power, and so I don't hear any feeding frenzy necessarily just yet for him. And as Eric Swalwell was about to cost the Democrats the governor's race in California, and he still may do that. Nobody wants Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, both of them. It's like pathological, frankly. But nonetheless, they had the dossier and the blackmail file on them, and they used that in order to get rid of him like they did Biden. That's why we're doing the show. We want this, like we would like for accountability for Ruben Gallego. Luna says here, the Senate has its own trash to take out. You need to look in these allegations. It's against one of your senators. It's very disturbing, she says to Leader John Thune. My chief will be contacting your chief. What should John Thune do here?
Well, I think he should take very seriously whatever these allegations are. We need to show leadership in Congress. I'm tired of watching him, and it's been getting worse and worse of my whole entire life. I mean, when I was a kid, I don't think people looked necessarily at their congressmen and politicians in DC as just being almost criminal. There was some level of respect. Now it seems like we have such a low opinion of Congress because of bad actors like the Eric Swalwells of the world, like the Menendez who was taking bribes, like shady folks like Ruben Gallego. We want to flush out that whole system, and let's bring some real decent people into Washington, D.C. to do the people's work. That was what my goal was. I think this is why they worked so hard to stop me, because they saw that I wasn't going to take a bribe. When they attempted to bribe me, I said, no, no amount of money in the world will stop me from doing the right thing for the people. And let me tell you, it's when you have that kind of moral compass, it's hard in DC. I'm in DC right now, getting attacked nonstop as I try to modernize and make more efficient our, U.S. Agency for Global Media. I get hit pieces run almost daily on me. They can't stop attacking me. They don't want honest people in DC because it disrupts the criminal enterprise in the U.S. government. And they're all part of it. They're all getting something from it. And we need to really clean this out. So I hope that the Leader Thune, will take seriously whatever these allegations are that Representative Luna is bringing to him, and pursue any ethics violations and bring justice and punishment as would be deserved for whatever these allegations are.
Kari, 18 months in Washington, D.C. in this role, very prestigious role. What have you learned? You just said that all of D.C. is a corrupt criminal enterprise. Can you unpack that?
Oh man, I mean, I went into it believing DC was corrupt. I'm more astounded every day by the levels of corruption, and I think we started to see it immediately when Doge went into U.S. agency, USAID, and started to like peel back the onion and went, oh my gosh, we're talking billions of dollars in the most insane levels of spending. You know, in my own agency, we went to appropriators on Capitol Hill and said, we are effectuating the president's executive order to bring this agency down to what's statutorily required by law. Nothing bigger than that. Just what does the law require us to do at this agency? We're willing to do that, but we need to trim back what's not required by law. And they don't like that. They want to keep growing these agencies. So as we're trying to modernize it and make it more efficient, and we went and asked for 153 million instead of the nearly billion they were giving us, the appropriators said, no, we're going to give you 600 billion. I said, no, we only need 153 million, and they gave us 600. So it's insane what they're doing. They give, it's very rare that an agency leader would walk to the appropriators, meet with them and say, please don't give us as much money as you have. And then they say, no, we're going to give you more money than you want, and you have to spend it by law.
Yeah.
We sit in meetings going, how are we going to spend this money? And, we'd love to just be able to give some of it back and say, we don't need it. The taxpayers are footing the bill. We don't need all this money, but it would be breaking the law if we don't spend it. How messed up is that, Benny?
It's completely messed up. It like begs corruption. It begs for Somali style daycares, right? Like like you have to then create fake businesses to spend all the fake money, and the worst people get paid.
And then to find out that, when I got into the agency had a history of putting out propaganda that was, in many cases, anti-American. It was going against what America stood for across the globe. There were instances of putting out CCP propaganda on the airwaves that American taxpayers are funding. I'm very proud of the fact that as we're modernizing, we are making very sure that the journalists that we hire, the content that we put out, is in alignment with American foreign policy and American national strategies and security strategies, so that we're putting out information across the globe that aligns with who we are as Americans, rather than puts out a negative image of America across the globe.
Can you just give me one, so the appropriations that's a crazy story. Anything else? We always heard all of these rumors about what Doge was finding, and we love the shutdown of USAID, but there's so much more to be done in Washington, D.C. Any other points of extreme waste or criminal fraud that you've witnessed?
Oh gosh, when we started digging into the books, $300,000 was of American taxpayer money was spent sponsoring a low-level Afghan cricket team. $800,000 to put on a New York City concert. This is a news agency. Why are we supporting a cricket team in Afghanistan and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it? And when I got in, shortly after I got in, the Capitol Police showed up one day and said, we're investigating a crime that happened here. And I said, what's this all about? Apparently, and the suspect has admitted guilt. There was a man who was working at Voice of America who, over the course of many months, was using the phones right there in the newsroom, in the control room, to call in death threats to a sitting member of Congress, and that sitting member of Congress's family and staff. Really horrible, scary death threats were called on numerous occasions from Voice of America phones to a member of Congress. It's just unbelievable. He has since pled guilty and is doing time. This is just the kind of stuff. When I first got there, something came across my desk about one of our reporters allegedly dressing in women's garb and wearing women's makeup and reporting as a Voice of America reporter in the Middle East. Do you think any viewer in the Middle East is going to respect the Voice of America when the man that they're watching doing the reporting is wearing makeup and women's apparel? It's crazy. And your tax dollars are paying for it. And we are just working to make sure it's running efficiently and that the message going out across the globe is not detrimental to America. And I'm being sued because they don't like us trying to make sure that the message is not detrimental to America. And I'm being sued for that right now because I said, no, we're not going to put out news that hurts America. That's not what this is about. That's not what this agency is about.
So maybe in closing here, you could, and perhaps we should have started here, but either way, like in closing here, you could like explain to us what this agency is about, because I got a phone call from Mike Benz, just absolutely giddy that you were going to be in charge of this agency, because this is the agency that is effectively the, what he told me was the CIA intel agency cutout operational voice box for whatever op they wanted to run, throughout the globe. And they used, Voice of America to do that. And again, often antithetical to what the American people voted for and to what America stands for. And you can sort of see how that would happen if it's been completely co-opted by the same organizations that like ran the Trump impeachment. We ran that all day with John Solomon yesterday. And you could see how the CIA was operating to stage coups here in our country. Hopefully they'll all go to jail for it. But perhaps you could explain, is that true? And and have you felt any pressure from the deep state?
A ton of pressure. They don't just say the phrase on this agency is pound for pound the most corrupt agency in Washington, D.C. It's a small agency, but that's what they call it. Pound for pound, the most corrupt agency in Washington, D.C. I mean, look at things like Radio Free Europe. Yes, it did start out as a CIA operation, Radio Free Asia, and in many ways, Voice of America many years ago. Now, I don't believe that they're CIA operations now, but we have had a history in the past of spies coming into the agency. And I don't think that's how the agency should be run. The agency should be putting out news that is reliable, news that is in alignment with where the United States, with their national security priorities and their foreign policy. And it hasn't been doing that in the past. There's been some very shady activity there. We've been sued. Everything we've tried to do to make this agency more efficient and modern, we've been sued. We had a judge come in and stop us when we tried to reduce and terminate some employees, and we've been sued for that. So if you look, Benny, across any news operation across the globe, there have been, as they're made more efficient, that means they have shed some employees. I mean, look at just recently, the Washington Post laying off, I think, 300 employees. BBC just terminated, I think, over 2,000 employees. And for some reason, this agency feels that the bureaucracy in this agency feels that it's not acceptable to terminate anybody. We need to make sure that we're running a lean, mean operation that is putting out reliable news that is in alignment with our foreign policy and our national security policy that doesn't hurt America abroad. And I will not stop until we are successful at that. I feel very good about the news operation as it stands right now. And I think people are going to be seeing a lot of exciting things coming to Voice of America. We are going to start looking at global corruption. Why aren't we looking at things like global voting and electoral fraud? We've seen elections across the globe that have been run in a way where everyone knows that wasn't run fairly. Why are we not looking into that? We only broadcast to foreign audiences. We don't broadcast to the American people. But there's enough global corruption out there that needs to be peeled back. And when I got in, there was zero interest in covering any of that. They just wanted to pay huge amounts of money, tens of thousands, to the AP, Reuters, and AFP, buy all of their coverage and just regurgitate it rather than doing their own original reporting. So I think we're going to start seeing original reporting coming out of Voice of America. We're going to see some really incredible hires of top, rock solid investigative journalists will be hired. And I think people are going to say, wow, That's how you turn an organization around and make it reputable once again.
That's awesome. Just announcing the James O'Keefe hire here live on the show, Kari Lake. Good for you.
That would be great. I would love that. I would love that.
Exciting. What an exciting time.
I think James is doing such great work with his own operation that we don't want to take him off track, and we want him to keep going. He's great.
Okay, well, I have to ask a follow-up to that question just based on the news, and this will be the last question. What about the opening of the Straits of Hormuz that just happened? How will Voice of America be covering that under your stewardship?
Well, contrary to what the fake news has reported, we are covering our Farsi language service into Iran. It is 24/7. We're doing an incredible job covering the situation in Iran. We are explaining what's happening, and so they will be covering that and listening. You know, the whole point is not to put a slant on anything, but it's to actually let the key people speak. We actually play President Trump's press conferences when it's referring to Iran, so the Iranian people can hear that. And the people suing us are saying they're running President Trump's sound bites. Well, duh. The whole world is, because he happens to be a pretty central key figure. And so naturally, we are going to run his sound bites, especially when it pertains to Iran, the Iranian people, the military presence and the military operation going on, Epic Fury. We're going to run the president's sound bites. So kind of get over it, okay? That's part of the story. But the way they used to do it was, in many shady news operations, would never let the president speak. You just see him, and then they would paraphrase what he said in the most negative way, rather than just letting the listener hear him. So we're 24/7 operation going into Iran. I'm really proud of our Office of Cuba Broadcasting, Radio Marti, which is going 24 hours a day into Cuba. The Cuban people have been through way too much, and they're ready for a big change. I hope it comes soon, but we're doing incredible work getting broadcasting into the Cuban people as well, and also covering Mandarin, Korean, and many other languages.
Wow. So are you announcing the invasion of Cuba right here? This is great.
No.
Thank you, Kari,
No.
for all these things. Can I have the mic a little bit for that? Can I help?
Well, we're just covering it and making sure they're getting reliable information, and they need it. They need it because they're not going to get it from their own government. And I'm very hopeful, Benny. It's easy to get bogged down with all the negativity, but think about where we are right now.
Yes.
Just for a second.
Yes.
The people of Iran are going to be freed from this murderous dictatorship, this absolute heinous regime. The people of Iran are going to be freed. Some of the people that I work with as children, when they were in Iran, they would walk through the streets, and it was a common occurrence to see people, the government, hanging people by cranes above town for something as ridiculous as speaking ill against the regime. In Cuba, they're starving their people down there. There's no electricity. There's barely any water. They're about to be freed, hopefully, from this regime. Can you imagine if Iran is free, Cuba is free? We get rid of these areas that have been such a difficulty for the entire world, especially when you think about the terrorists that Iran has funded, that have caused so much trouble for so many countries. We are on the verge of having world peace thanks to President Trump. And I'm really getting tired of hearing people try to attack President Trump. They don't understand this is a much bigger play that he is making, a much bigger play for peace in the world. And I think there's some temporary difficulty getting through all of it. Obviously, it's, whenever you're in the middle of an operation, it can be tenuous at times. But I think the end result is going to be a world that is peace, where peace prevails in the world rather than constant conflicts. The president is perfectly suited to do this job.
I couldn't agree with you more. Blessed are the peacemakers. They'll be called the children of God. And so that is what we pray for, is the words of Christ. The words of my production team here, I should be a little concerned about, because our chats are now popping off about me going and being a war correspondent in Cuba. I'm not sure what I should think about that, Kari. I think we might have to have internal conversations at the company. But they want me on the beaches of Cuba. So
I think you'd be a good reporter. I mean, you actually put the truth out there.
We've
I
been to
think you'd be
Cuba.
great.
It's terrible.
I don't know how your Spanish speaking skills are, Benny.
I know the Taco Bell menu very well. Yeah.
Well, I think we keep you right where you are because the new media is really helping to save our country. And I know a lot of the folks out there are getting a lot of criticism, but just being able, being able to come on and talk about election corruption, being able to come on and talk about the truth about what's happening in Washington D.C. And you've always been open to having me on, and I appreciate that. But our new media is really what's been so important in this country, getting us from COVID to where we are today. It's huge. Nobody's turning on these.
Why hasn't The View booked you, Kari? Why haven't?
I'd love to go on. I think they're afraid of me because I would be able to, any garbage line they throw out, any lie they throw out, I would be able to debunk it, to use one of their words, pretty instantaneously. And I think they're afraid of me.
Well, shots fired, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if The View opens their Straits of Hormuz and allows Kari Lake to come on the show. That'd be fun. That'd be exciting.
I'd be thrilled to go on. I'd be thrilled.
Follow Kari Lake right here. She's got millions of subscribers. You should be one of them. And make sure that you are fighting alongside of the people who are fighting for us. Godspeed, Kari Lake. Thank you.
Thank you, my fellow Iowan. It's been great to be on with you. I hope to see you again in person soon.
See ya. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta. Wow, that's too fast. It's almost creepy. Yeah, oh yeah, it's almost creepy. Who wants to see it? Chat, let me know. Chat, let me know. Chat. Gotta put the chat up. Chat, let me know. What are we thinking here? What are we thinking? We haven't done. Yeah, okay. Here we go. We got. Let's see. Baby L says go Kari. All right. I'll go with you, Benny. Says JX Media. What up, Benny? Says David P. Here we go. Benny, all you need to know is Banyo bathroom and one more beer, please, from Feste. Go, go, go. You guys are gonna make me go to Cuba. We're gonna go back. I wanna do it. Oh, look, we should go back. Here we go. ZXY54321. Cuba's wild. It doesn't need to be tamed or controlled by their abundance of wealth hidden beneath their mountains either. America doesn't need to go digging for gold any longer. Okay. I always appreciate all of the opinions of the audience. Shall we do a few more? Should we do a live stream from Cuba? Should we actually go? Yes, you are going to need a generator. Hold on, I just lost that comment. But yes, we were going to need a generator. I say go. Let's go down and free Cuba, says Johnny Drama 50. We need the U.S. cleaned up here first, says M Doobies 08. Love it. Time to expand. Okay. Everyone says go to Cuba. Beach looks nice. Benny is scared. I mean, I don't want to be in a communist prison, right? We went to Cuba this one time. There's a documentary up on it. We went to Cuba this one time, and they raided our Airbnb. The government raided our Airbnb. They marched in with guns, and they tried to take all of our SD cards. Anyway, I didn't have any kids at the point. Having children actually changes your mind on these things. But anyway, yeah, sure. Why not? You need to go. Go safely, says Rosie Peach. And Zianimane says you should go. Here we go. Benny, you are the best journalist in the country right now. Well, thank you. It's extremely kind. Not sure if I agree with you, but I appreciate that. Whoop, whoop, Benny, says Warlockcity 17. Okay. I want to go. I'm freaking serious, says Feisty. So Feisty's for real. Okay. Una más cerveza. Por favor. I have faith in Benny. Well, I appreciate that. You should have faith in your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Kari Lake. Love for Kari Lake. Look at this, Mike. Don't go. This is probably my wife's burner account. Don't go. Let's go. I actually asked my wife if I could go to Cuba last week. I asked. You know, Hassan Piker was there sipping with his little pinky up, like his little espresso in his hotel room at his fancy hotel. And he was there, like it was the only hotel that had electricity. Klein, if we went, we'd probably have to stay there, actually. If it's the only hotel with electricity, like to actually get the footage. Yeah, okay. Yep, he didn't want his room. Probably a nice room, honestly. All right, here we go. You should you should bring up a black button up. I barely recognize you. All right, that's fine. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. No, Benny, we need you here. We'll see. Benny Vamonos from El Prophet. Okay. I guess we'll see. Most people saying go. Most people saying go to Cuba. I would actually really love to go back, honestly. Hassan is a disgusting sack of misfolded proteins. You should probably go after Trump is finished. That's right. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Not gonna lie, he looks like Benny. Well, yep. That's, I guess, how AI works. AI's got us kind of locked in now. And I guess we'll see. Last one. Benny, just stay safe and vigilant out there. I know. We're going to be traveling a little more. I think I'm a little more scared. I would be a little more scared to go back to California, honestly, based on what we saw in California than Cuba. I think we'd be safer in Cuba, to be quite honest. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What a fun, little rowdy Friday show. Exciting things going on. And an exciting moment. Obviously, with the economy rip roaring, and is there any other breaking news, producers? Any other breaking news, producers, that has happened in the time of the show? You know, we kind of stay locked in. I loved that interview with Kari Lake. If you are locked in a rip roaring economy, you should be using Shopify. Shopify is how we sell merchandise at this company. Shopify is a wonderful place to get your own design studio started. Hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Accelerate your efficiency when you're uploading new products and trying to improve ones. It's packed with helpful AI tools. We use them, actually, for our Christmas ornament. And, well, people haven't heard about your brand. It helps you find customers with an easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. If you're stuck, they always have their 24/7 customer support. We love Shopify. They've helped us. They can help you. It's time to turn those what-ifs into ka-ching, baby. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today. Shopify.com/Benny. Go to Shopify.com/Benny. That's Shopify.com/Benny for one of those babies. Okay. We got to end on like a good story, happy story. What shall we do? I mean, it's like a lot of good going on in the world. Producers, you got anything? We got missing scientists. That's like pretty dark, honestly. UFO linked scientist warned my life is in danger before she was found dead. She becomes the 11th mysterious case of missing United States scientists. Maybe we'll end with Justice Thomas. Who doesn't love Justice Thomas? Justice Thomas gave a rare speech, and he warned of wokeness. This guy has to serve every single day with Ketanji Brown Jackson. Doesn't know what a woman is. So let's go ahead and listen to what Thomas warns us. Maybe some words of wisdom into our weekend, shall we?
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. It requires of the people a subservience and weakness incompatible with a constitution premised on the transcendent origin of our rights. The century of progressivism did not go well. The European system that Wilson and the progressives scolded Americans for not adopting, which he called nearly perfect, led to the governments that caused the most awful century that the world has ever seen. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini, and Mao all were intertwined with the rise of progressivism, and all were opposed to the natural rights on which our Declaration are based.
Ladies and gentlemen, wisdom calls out from the street. Do you heed it? Saith and prayeth the psalm. Do you heed it? Let's go ahead and back to my screen. Let's just give a couple extra white pills for the day. We got our sweet white pill. We finally got our white pill graphic. Let's go. White pill of the day. Here we go. Oh shoot, it's a different screen that I've been scrolling on. Let's take that down. We'll take that one down. I'll take that one down. I was on the production screen. Here you go. I'm sharing it right now. I got a couple of bangers. Let's go. Trump is a war president. Iraq war is 8 years. Afghanistan war 20 years. Gulf War 7 months. Kosovo war 3 months. Vietnam war 8 years. Iran 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights. Ladies and gentlemen, 40, an important number, frankly, scriptures. Not sure what you think about that. What do you think about the number 40? Great day for the world. I think the numbers are very important, by the way. When I stay in a hotel, I'll ask for a different room if I don't like the number of the room. I will. 2s and 7s, 5s, 4s, numbers that divide correctly. Great day for the world. A great and brilliant day for the world, says Donald Trump. White House posting this. White House is absolute rage posting through it. Here we go. The memes. Everyone excited for the memes. Here we go. JD dancing. Trump dancing. It totally works. Got some music line. I'm not sharing mine with audio. Yeah, you can give me that music. Yeah, whatever. We're not gonna spend the rest of the show watching this. It's a good one. I like it. And the Rubio dancing, I think, is my favorite. Right, S&P all-time highs. Me and the boys. Here we go. Breaking. I just spoke with President Trump on the phone. He's in Las Vegas. I got right to the point. I asked the president if Iran agreed to stop enriching uranium. Yes, he told me. They'll stop enriching uranium. They've agreed to everything. Yes. Are you surprised? I asked, are you surprised? He told me, I'm not surprised by anything. I said, see you later. And he hung up. That's amazing. Look at this. From a News Nation reporter. Her name's Kaylee Meyer. This is Kaylee Meyer. All right. Kelly Meyer, you earned a follow back. There you go. Okay. That's hilarious. Here we go. Free for the next few days. Elon Musk. Experts, the naval blockade won't work. Iran is winning the war. They have all the leverage. Oil prices will soar. Reality, the blockade did work. Strait is open. Iran capitulated, and oil is down 10% this morning, but it's even better than 10%. Look at this. It's below $80 a barrel. Oil has now crashed 32% in 9 days. Holy guacamole. That's the only Spanish that I know. There you go. Okay. Exciting times. Really fun. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your weekend in this, the greatest country on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, our verse of the day. We'll never leave you without a verse of the day. Here we go. Ephesians 5:11. Take no part in the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them. By their evil intentions, they will be exposed, and the light shines upon them. Be very wary about who you're sticking into your earbuds. Be very wary about people who take an opportunity, an advantageous opportunity, to turn on their principles, to turn on what they believe or what they told you that they believe. Stick with people who are consistent. That's it. I'm not trying to start drama here. I'm just saying, judge a tree by its fruit is a great example of what Christ is constantly saying in the New Testament. Take no part in the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. The worthless deeds. You know what they are. the evil intentions being exposed. The light will shine on them. Be part of the light. March with us on to victory. It's your boy Benny. Have a great weekend in this, the greatest country on earth. See ya.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun, we sail for #1. Show come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun, we sail for #1. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.